Okay. When was that song born? That's tremendous. And you've got more material. I know Roberto is out today. He worked all weekend. I forget what the hell it is, the country thing. The point is.
The hoedown.
Yeah, sure. So, but guys, you know what segment to pull from the Gator show today. You know what to do. I mean, that's just handing Michelangelo better paint. It's right there for you.
Upgrading the Crayolas.
Yes, I will expect a reprisal. So this weekend was a busy news weekend, and I want to make your life easier. And I've come away with something. So we're going to do this. We'll get to the Tigers a little later, and we got to get to the Big Ten ruining itself. The anatomy of a champion. So we've all talked about this. We're still all salty about how the NBA lottery played out. And we're on this bandwagon that it is a complete destruction for the Pistons franchise. Now, it was a 50-50 street fight last week between people who goes, I agree, this is horrible, we have no future. And then you had the Sunshine Crew. Oh, it's okay, we could take Jarace Walker. I go, okay. Well, we could trade it. I go, all right, but here's what you're trading it for. Well, this weekend, nothing broke right for the Pistons. I'm convinced they signed a blood oath with Satan to win a title because something is wrong in the water. Reports come out. The Portland Trail Blazers' number one priority is to trade the number 3 overall pick. That's a problem. You're at 5. The Houston Rockets are going to trade the number 4 pick if they get their way. Also a problem. You're at 5. So that's 2 teams ahead of you in line, right? Then the big problem. I imagine David, as we were joking before the show, much like the Lil Penny commercials, looking over at us and going, and don't forget about OKC. because Oklahoma City can get whatever player they want when their time is right. They have 19 first-round picks. So I said, okay. The trade market is pretty much effed. Nobody liked the players I was bringing up. And now you might not even be able to get them. So watching my Celtics show the spinal integrity of a jellyfish last night, I started thinking about what do all these teams have in common that are still playing? And Rico, it is this. The Heat with Caleb Martin and Duncan Robinson and Vincent and Max Strus, all undrafted. 4 rotational players, all undrafted. Really helping carry them, right? The Nuggets, Jokic, 41st overall. Even Braun taking 21st overall and providing value to them outside that top 20. Because this isn't the NFL, guys. The NBA, outside of that top 5 or so, it gets thin. You got to hit. Lakers. Now, this is the one that hurts. Austin Reeves, undrafted. One problem. Troy Weaver tried to draft him. He told you to go bleep yourself. I'd rather be undrafted and go to L.A. True story. You tried to take him, I think, at 42 overall. But they have him, an undrafted player that is helped get them to the conference finals. And then the Celtics, the big example would be Robert Williams, taken 27th overall, and he's that perfect rebounder, rim runner, shot blocker. Perfect. 27th. Celtics didn't have to give up picks to go get him, didn't take him at 10 or 11. Okay, so before you yell at me about Duren, what I'm citing is outside of that top 10, hell, outside of the first round, Troy Weaver has to be better. Now, here's your problem. Couple of the deals you've made, you've punted second-round picks. You don't even have them. Now, you have one this year, but you have 5 and this other pick. Rico, the future of the Pistons, it probably isn't in free agency because even if they max, let's say you pay Cam Johnson, the Nets could match. Nobody's hyped up on Dylan Brooks, but okay, if you want him, go get him. Rico, if we circle back to this, that the 5th pick will be untradeable, is this the only way out? We have to hope and pray that Troy Weaver can emulate what these other 4 teams have done in order to create a pathway to prosperity for us. Or am I just bored because my team's down 0-3?
A little of both.
I hate you. Okay. I really dislike you at this moment.
That's okay. No, he does. He's got to go out and be able to draft and have his guys actually make an impact and not one of those where it's taking years and years and you're on the Killian Hayes plan because we're still waiting. You don't have those second-round picks. You have one this year. But, yeah, honestly, your future was already cast. You need guys like Duran to step up and do something. And with this 5th pick, you need him to do something. But, yeah, it would be nice if you had extra picks. But, yeah, they're going to have to go out in free agency and identify that person, or not free agency, but the undrafted players, and identify maybe 1 or 2 people who can become a part of that rotational thing.
I think it's even bigger.
Because
I think
right now
they need to buy some first-round picks. Teams are buying first-round picks.
No, you're not kidding.
Look, you need to come up with your Robert Williams at 27, or you need to come up with your Austin Reeves, or any of the 4 Heat players. Rico.
Yeah, I'm quite sure OKC will say, sure, going price for one of these picks.
I know.
There you go.
Look, and it's not at all costs. Guys, after the weekend, we knew the 5th pick was going to be tough to deal. And now when you see that the teams directly ahead of you want to trade their picks, it devalues your leverage. When you look at what's even out there, it devalues the desire. And I go, all right, what is our pathway? Because this is where I'm going to land the plane. I'm very concerned we could end up with another boring offseason. And I don't say boring as just somebody unsatisfied watching TV. I mean fade to black, true irrelevance. I'm worried that if they can't deal the pick, Troy will do what he does best. He'll just use it. And the free agent, we'll have to keep listening how, we'll have all the cap space in the world in 24. I'll have to listen to the Jaylen Brown stuff, and it's like, you don't even have what it takes to get him. And I don't know what the way out is, Rico. But the anatomy of all these teams left is they have done some remarkable stuff, varying ranges of remarkable, with nonsense late picks.
Yeah, and you got to bring me something that's more than beef stew. Isaiah Stewart.
He's a nothing.
By
burger.
the way, happy birthday, beef stew. But
nope. Wrong one. Totally unrelated.
But they have to bring in somebody who can truly contribute and who can be a 6th, 7th, 8th guy.
Starter, Rico. Starter. Stop lowering the bar. You need to find.
I guess what I'm
starters.
looking in a second round or an undrafted pick, I'm not necessarily going for a starter right off the rip. Now, if you happen to become a Jokic or a Draymond Green and you go from the bench to the starting lineup,
fine.
Great. But that's asking a lot.
My point is, coming out of the weekend, Rico, I have a viewpoint on this offseason where I'm petrified. I think the reverberations from falling to 5 in the lottery, I don't even know if people are going to realize them until it's well down the line. Yeah. I mean,
because if you were going to trade it, you needed the number 2 pick. People would have maybe bit on Scoot Henderson.
Now, I'll give you an example. We were all upset about the Red Wings. But the difference is Steve Eiserman's built a war chest. Troy Weaver is not. Steve Eiserman is in position to capitalize on something that Kenny Cott is going to report on next. Kenny's been burning the phone lines down. He is a regular Bob McKenzie today. We have Jiggs McDonald and Stan Fischler answering the phone right now. This is important because I want to show you the difference in hope. I can't sell you anything with the Pistons based on the way the news broke for the weekend. But I don't want to be negative with you guys today. So I'm going to sell you a positive. We have some positive indications that are going to give Steve Eiserman the opportunity to at least pick up the phone and try for one of the biggest stars in the sport. Ken, are you comfortable with me saying that?
I'm very comfortable with you saying that.
All right.
After some of the research, after I've been burning up the phone lines.
That's right.
Talking to sources.
Talking to his people.
Do you know Kenny goes foaling with Elliot Friedman?
Did not know.
We are going to get to this next because the Pistons thing is to set up the bigger thing. That as bad as it's going for them over here, I want to sell a window of hope for a team on the opposite because the Pistons do not have the picks to do what we're about to talk about over here. By the way, when David reports that Mikal Bridges was going to cost 4 first-round picks, what the hell do you think the 5th pick overall is going to net you? A bag of Funyuns? 4 picks for Mikal Bridges? Nice player, but what?
Well, here's the thing, Mike. You got to do it this year because you don't have a second-round pick in 2024, the Pistons. So.
Oh, that's great. And, the Knicks, you're first.
At some point.
Yeah. Top 18 protected next year, top 13 the year after, I believe. Bottom
Top
line
11
is
and top
there's
8,
no war chest, and there may be no way out. Not no easy way out. Shout out Robert Tepper. No way out at all. And if you're watching these finals, you're seeing the only way forward. You got to buy some lottery tickets, and you got to start hitting a couple of these because I don't know what we're doing here. But, hey, shout out Cam Whitmore.
But know what? You're right.
Hold on to that fishing line.
Maybe this does go down to the fact that you try to buy some first-round picks late in the first round, at least one more guy.
Have to. And Troy has shown a willingness. The problem is he's not hitting on these things.
No.
And maybe the biggest problem with the past year outside of not getting Wembanyama and Cade being hurt, the first draft class kind of showed its ass. Bay, Beef Stew, Killian, they're nothing burgers. They're out. You're not paying Killian. I don't want to hear about the defense and the passing. Can't shoot. He's the worst shooting backcourt player in basketball. He is. You dump Bay for a dead body, and Beef Stew's a nothing.
Celtics want him?
Nah, no need for that. No need for that.
You're shooting bad on your own.
I'll give Beef Stew, what, Killian?
Yeah.
He might care more than Tatum or Brown. Can you imagine me saying a Frenchman's got more guts than anybody?
But at this point,
yikes.
It really does boil down to the fact of his talent evaluation, and you had the number one pick in Cade. That doesn't count. Ivy kind of fell in your lap last year.
He did. Full stop. That's like giving Brad Holmes credit for Aiden.
Right.
It fell to you. He could take Aiden or Kayvon and would have been right with both.
Right.
So I don't want to hear that.
So, yeah, he could have to him or
So what has he done on his own accord? It'd be Jalen Duren. Here's your problem. You still owe a future first-round pick. You don't have a war chest. And I don't know how we're getting better.
And see, that's what I'm saying. Duren is the key because you gave up a lot to get this kid. You really thought he was going to be that guy.
And he showed flashes, man.
He's got to take that next step next season. And if you hit that right, then all of a sudden everything else falls into place.
Well, let me show you something better. Let me show you how it's done when you got a real GM. When you got a born winner like Steve Arthur Eiserman. We're going to talk about this next because I think Stevie's going to get a shot in the batter's box with one of the biggest stars in the league. And you know what's funny? We brought this up Friday and got laughed at. Well, now it feels a lot more real, bitches. We're going to get to it next. We'll have Kenny, a.k.a. Jiggs McDonald, reporting live next.